To the Easy Odds. We're on day 9. The Easy Odds Euro 2016, day 9.
It's non-stop, isn't it?
Tips. Absolutely non-stop. Yesterday, best day ever. England scored in the last minute. Sturridge.
Oh, wow.
We went mad in here, didn't we?
We went a bit mad,
We went absolutely mad. It was carnage.
Full of pizza, full of beer.
Full of pizza and beer.
Full of joy.
Full of joy. Absolutely full of joy. Oh my God.
And we tipped it.
Oh yeah.
England to win and both teams to score 3-1.
So that meant cherry on the...
Yeah, cherry on the top, which meant that I was in profit yet again for that day. Unfortunately, the other two tips didn't quite come in, but I was in profit thanks to the 3-1.
Nice.
So let's move on to day 9.
Yeah, so the first game, Belgium versus Ireland. Your outright tip is Belgium.
Oh.
Looking very iffy. They're out to 18-1 now, I think.
Out to 18, yeah.
So, what's going to happen in this specific game? Belgium are favourites, I assume.
Yeah, Belgium are favourites. Been made 17-20 to beat their Group E rivals. Ireland on Saturday, match being played in Bordeaux. Belgium saw plenty of the ball up against Italy in the opening game, but failed to make the most of it. Eden Hazard in particular, I thought was absolutely brilliant in that game. He looks more and more like his old self. Unfortunately for Belgium, they played such a narrow game that it really played into Italy's hands. Italy have just won their match up against Sweden 1-0. Another winning tip for me. I tipped them to keep a clean sheet in that game. And defensively, they're just really stout, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it played into their hands that Belgium were surging players forward and they were caught in the break. And I can see this match happening in a similar kind of flow. Ireland played a very similar game up against Sweden. They actually gave possession of the ball to Sweden quite a lot in that game.
Yeah.
Let Sweden try and break them down, and Sweden are yet to actually have a shot on target this European Championships, and it worked there. And I can see Ireland trying to do exactly the same with the likes of Seamus Coleman, James McLean, players with pace, trying to hurt them on the break, and in particular Walters and Long are a real danger in a counter attack. So I'm a little bit wary about this game as well for Belgium, because following the trend of what happened to them against Italy and also in the friendly up against Finland, very, very similar styles of play to what Ireland will play here, I think.
Okay, that's interesting.
They're going to have a tough game here, I think. Ireland, on the other hand, of course, coming to this game actually in place above Belgium. Who'd have thought that at the start of the tournament? Because of their hard-fought 1-1 draw against Sweden, they'll be disappointed. As I pointed out, Sweden haven't actually had a shot on target this tournament.
Still.
And they still didn't manage to win the game, even though they scored a goal. So they'll be disappointed with that, and they'll have to get over that, because this is a tough game for them, of course, playing Belgium. However, they have now failed to win any of their last 4 games.
Yeah.
Ireland. So that's why they've been made 9-2 here to beat Belgium, which I wouldn't put you off of, actually. I can see them nicking a win here like they did against Germany back in Ireland. I won't put you off that, but it's not my recommended bet, Jake.
Okay, so what's your recommended bet then?
My recommended bet is going to be a bit left field. Sometimes I think it's a pretty fun way to bet, and I think I've got good reason to back a penalty to be awarded in this game.
Either side?
For either side, yeah.
Okay.
And you don't have to score the penalty either.
No.
The penalty just needs to be awarded. Best price 15-4, almost 4-1 there.
Yeah.
And I fancy that because there's been 3 penalties awarded in the last 6 games for Ireland. And those are 2 Ireland. And also Belgium have had 2 in their last 10. So there's past history there, pretty recent history of penalties being awarded in these teams' games. I'm expecting some pretty rough and ready challenges from the Irish back line. John O'Shea in particular was very lucky not to concede a penalty against Sweden in the opening game. He was all over Grankvist in the box. His kind of style of defending is kind of like pulling shirts and all that sort of stuff, and it's kind of very touch and go all the time as to whether it's going to be a penalty. Him and Kieran Clark both defend in that same way, and I can see them having backs to walls for a lot of the game.
Yeah.
As well as being up against Eden Hazard. No European footballer has won more penalties in the last 3 years than Eden Hazard. So that's another good reason to back a penalty to be awarded in this game. And at the other end, Belgium were kind of desperate in their defending when up against counter-attacks against Italy, and I can see more of the same happening here. And with Shane Long and Jonathan Walters on the break, I can see some last-ditch tackles going in from either the defenders or of course, Thibaut Courtois, who is the goalkeeper for Chelsea, and this season has been sent off twice for kind of last-man challenges. So there's plenty of reason there to think that a penalty could well be awarded, and 15-4 I think is a really good price.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I can envisage Hazard getting into the box and just diving or getting fouled even. He's got pretty quick feet and he's been playing alright recently, and there was an injury scare but he was training today, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was back training today, so
hopefully
fingers
it should be
crossed.
okay. Yeah. Next up we've got Hungary versus Iceland. I mean, Hungary put up probably one of the best performances of the entire tournament so far
They
last
did
time.
really, really well to beat Austria, didn't they?
Who are the favourites for this one though?
So I'm actually massively surprised with this, Jake. The bookmakers make Iceland favourites to beat Hungary in Marseille on Saturday. I'm surprised at that. Very similar in prices. Iceland are slightly favourites at 7-4, whereas Hungary are outsiders at 21-10. So it's not huge outsiders. But Iceland did keep Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo in particular very frustrated. His comments after the game left a little to be desired. He seemed to be a bit annoyed about the way that Iceland played, but if you're Iceland up against Portugal, why would you go and chase the game?
Pantomime villain.
Pantomime villain indeed. However, in my eyes, Hungary were actually more impressive in their opening game. They outplayed Austria. They won 2-0. Austria were actually many people's outside bets for the whole tournament at around 40-1. They thought that Austria had a chance in this particular group of going into the last 16 and then maybe following that on. But to beat them 2-0 was really impressive. I actually backed them in these very videos to get a double chance win, and that was a winning bet, of course, at 7-6. I wasn't brave enough to back them to win. Even I was surprised that they went on and actually won the game. But I wasn't surprised that they put in a tough game because they've only lost 2 matches in the last 12 games. So Hungary are a decent team, and I'm surprised that Iceland are favourites here, Jake.
Okay, yeah. I'm very surprised because they were poor against Portugal. I thought, well, basically they were pretty poor. Like, they're obviously really defensive, and I thought Hungary were just obviously they surprised everyone, didn't they?
Yeah.
To what,
They actually did boss the game, didn't they?
Yeah. So what do you think is actually going to happen though? What's your recommended bet?
Yeah, well, I just absolutely turned the full-time result market on its head and back a Hungary win here. I fancy it because Iceland have played Hungary 4 times in their history, lost 4 times, so they've got no proof of past historical wins against Iceland. They've got a worse recent record than them in recent history in any matches, and actually Iceland are the team that need to win this match more because Hungary have already got 3 points, whereas Iceland are only on 1. So Iceland can't just play that defensive game against Hungary now, whereas Hungary can do what they did against Austria, and play that kind of game management style, I call it, where you don't press and you don't hold back. It's kind of like when the time is right, we'll press forward, and when the time is right, we'll hang back. There isn't an outright tactic to either push or defend, and I think that they did that really, really well. And not chasing the game here is exactly what they should do up against Iceland, because Iceland, even though they played a very defensive game against Portugal, that's not how they normally play. They actually play on the front foot normally because their defence isn't as good as their attack. So I think that this is going to play into Hungary's hands. Iceland are going to have to chase the game. And the fact now that Hungary have only lost twice in the last 13 games is a testament to the fact that they're a hard side to beat.
Yeah.
Iceland, on the other hand, have picked up just 4 wins in 14, so I just can't fathom why they're favourites to win this game. So I really do fancy Hungary to win this game at best price at 21-10.
21-10, that's 2 pretty big prices. 4-1, nearly 4-1, 2-1. The evening game is Portugal versus Austria.
Yeah.
Can Ronaldo get it going for the Portuguese?
Well, yeah, he's disappointed, isn't he? In that first game, that there was every opportunity for him in the 94th minute to be the hero with that free kick, and hilariously it hit the wall and then span around and hit him in the back of the head, which made me chuckle.
Yeah.
But yeah, the favourites here in this game up against Austria, which is now a huge match. Both of these teams disappointed in the first game. So that leaves Austria on no points, Portugal only on 1 point. So this is a massive game now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone assumed that this would be the kind of match to see who finishes top, but that might not necessarily be the case now.
No.
Bookies have made Portugal favourites here, best price 10-11, so just a shade short of even money. But of the two teams' opening fixtures, you can certainly see why Portugal have been made favourites to win the game. They drew 1-1 to Iceland, granted, but they absolutely dominated the play, as you said earlier in the video when we were talking about Iceland, they actually had 17 shots on goal. They forced 11 corners.
Yeah.
They just couldn't quite put it to bed. So they didn't have a bad performance. They just had a bad result, I would say, about Portugal. Whereas Austria had a bad result and a bad performances. Not a great start to the tournament at all. Failed to even get a goal. There were many people's outside bet, as I pointed out, and they just really, really blew it, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they've actually been made pretty big price here at 4-1. Had they won their game against Hungary, I honestly think that they would be around 2-1.
Yeah.
I think people would have lost their faith in them, and the bookies in particular, making them 4-1 here.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, what's your recommended bet? Obviously, I think you're leaning towards Portugal, but
I am leaning towards Portugal, and that is exactly what I'm backing in the evening game. I think Portugal have got enough about them to get their first victory of the tournament against Austria. They're currently unbeaten in 8 competitive internationals, whilst Austria have now lost 4 of the last 6 matches in all competitions, which isn't a great start to the statistics there. And also, Dragovic, their big strapping centre-half, was sent off in that game against Hungary, where they lost 2-0, so he's missing. So they're going to have to play a second-choice centre-back. Portugal have got a point on the board already, so Austria know now that, honestly, I think they need to win this game, to be honest. And Portugal can do what they are best at, actually. Whereas up against Iceland, they had to kind of change the way that they play and play on the front foot. Portugal are way better at doing what Italy do and just sit at the back and just attack on the counter-attack with the likes of Nani, Sanchez, Ronaldo at absolute pace. So this is going to play into their hands a little bit, and I just really fancy them to give up plenty of the ball to Austria and then just bang them on the break.
Yeah.
So that's my tip there. It's 10-11 Portugal to win the game.
Simple as.
Absolutely.
Portugal win. I like it.
Lastly, on the reason to bet with Easy Odds actually on this one, Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, is going to be most people's pick for anytime goal scorer, even though he didn't manage to get on the score sheet against Iceland. Many bookmakers have him as short as 4-7, which is kind of average for a Cristiano Ronaldo anytime bet. No matter who he's playing for, Portugal, Real Madrid. But one bookmaker in particular, you'll have to go onto the website to find out which one, because that's my little hanging cliffhanger for you. One bookmaker has them has Cristiano to score 11-9, so that is a really
a superb price.
A superb price compared to 4-7. So that is exactly the reason why you would use Easy Odds. That's the odds comparison. So thanks very much for watching. Just to go through the tips again, Jay.
Yeah, so Belgium v Ireland.
Belgium v Ireland, my tip is a penalty to be awarded, slightly left field. Best price 15-4.
Hungary v Iceland.
Hungary v Iceland, I've got Hungary to win at best price 20-10, up against the full-time result market there.
Yeah.
And finally, going with the market, just a shade shy of even money, Portugal to beat Austria at 10-11.
I like it. Aki. It's actually in our Aki. Look at the Easy Odds accumulator. 32-1 it actually is.
Yeah.
32-1 doesn't seem that money, does it?
No. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to check out the Easy Odds Euro 2016 app or centre on the site, and also to subscribe to our channel, where we're going to be giving our daily Euro 2016 tips, as well as Jake's amazing horse racing tips. Just pat yourself on the back a little bit, Jake, and tell the viewers some of your wins during Royal Ascot.
Oh well, I had Tepin 10-1. I had the first 3 winners. I had the 9-1 winner, Jenny's Jewel in the Ascot Stakes. I had Usharet yesterday. I had the winner of the first today, 18-1.
Absolutely.
Had
listened to some of these prices. Jake is on absolute fire in Royal Ascot tipping, so make sure that you check out the Royal Ascot app as well, with easyodds.com, as well as on site. So thanks very much for watching. I've been Ross Casey, and this is Jake Johns.
Bye.